I don't know anything about saving worlds.
It's pretty ironic that the theme song of this movie is Madonna's Like a Prayer.
Trust me, kid, I'm no hero. You were an X-Man. You were the X-Man.
Because I consider this film to be a small miracle. Deadpool and Wolverine. I saw this opening night, Thursday, 6:20 p.m., packed house. My expectations, I tried to tamper them as much as I could, but the reactions coming out of it, the potential cameos, I think I was looking for blah, 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 or yada, yada, yada. It filled me up with great expectations. It is now Monday the following week, and I'm finally recording my thoughts on this movie because it took a while for me to fully grasp if I liked it. There's a lot, and it's super fun even on its surface, but halfway through the movie, and we're gonna get into spoilers in a little bit, I'll warn you if you haven't seen it yet, I had to reset the expectations in my brain. I had to rewire how I was taking it all in, because it is not really No Way Home Multiverse of Madness in terms of people blowing your mind when they come on screen, right? And there is some of that, don't get me wrong. But this is Deadpool 3. And I think the biggest expectation I had to rip out of my brain halfway through is that it wasn't going to have this big MCU implication. It was Deadpool walking into the MCU, trying to save his universe with Hugh Jackman, and we were going to wrap up the Deadpool trilogy, and then we were going to say goodbye to the Fox characters. And once you go into the movie knowing that's what you're going to get, it's amazing. And I slept on it for a couple days, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. And that's usually the barometer I have. When I leave a movie that gives me so much of what I want while simultaneously challenging what I thought it could be or what it would be, it takes me a second. And if I wake up that next day and I want to immediately see it again, that's how I know I'm falling in love with it. And I don't know if it's in my top 10 MCU movies. I would pretty safely say it's my favorite of the 3 Deadpool movies. It's definitely the funniest. And I'm just, this is going to sound ridiculous, but sometimes there are movies that remind you that it's just a privilege to be alive. And you never thought you would see what you do see in this movie. And look, the performances are great. And Sean Levy has proven yet again that he's a very, very, very capable director. Ryan Reynolds is hilarious. Hugh Jackman is back, one of his best performances. The supporting cast is great. All the things that you've heard about this movie, the special effects, everything, the score, the soundtrack, we all have been there talking about it. What separates it is the story that it's telling. And now we'll get into some spoilers. Deadpool and Wolverine, Deadpool, the character, is meta, right? He literally breaks the fourth wall. He punches the camera, grabs the mic, and says, "You Fox, I'm going to Disney." Unbelievable joke. Maybe my favorite joke in the whole movie. He literally breaks the fourth wall, right? The story is about saving the ones you love, remembering the ones you used to love, who you've lost along the way. And once this movie ended, and the credits rolled, and it showed a sizzle blooper reel, behind-the-scenes reel, of quite literally every Fox movie ever made. Blade, Elektra, Fantastic Four, both versions, all the X-Men movies. I started crying. The movie didn't make me cry. It got me, hyped up, and it gave me the chills, and it got me a little emotional. But the sizzle reel at the end made me realize that even if you don't love all these movies, you were younger when you saw them. And it transports you back into that moment. And this whole movie is about Deadpool saving the Fox universe. And boy, I gotta tell you, the idea that at the end of this movie, the Fox universe is just still there. I don't think we're gonna go back to it, save for Secret Wars, which of course will be the X-Men and everybody we've ever known and loved in that movie, right? But the fact that they spared it, the fact that they didn't wipe it from existence, I expected this movie to be, at the end, Vanessa and Colossus and Yukio, everybody, come on, the universe is done, we gotta bring you into the MCU, and then we're gonna bring all of Deadpool's characters into 616, and that universe gets wiped off the face of the earth. That's exactly what I thought the end of this movie was gonna be. But instead, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman stay in the Fox universe timeline for the time being. I'm sure they'll be ripped back into 616. And they just saved him. And it was beautiful. And that's the movie. Logan didn't save his universe. He saved Deadpool's. They did it together. And look, there are cameos for sure. Elektra, Wesley Snipes, what? Channing Tatum, Daphne Keane. All of those people would have been on a bingo card of people I thought would have shown up. So none of those people, even the Wesley Snipes of it all, didn't exactly blow my mind. And Chris Evans, I knew the second he was on screen, he was going to say flame on. I'm happy that some people that really duped him, and it seemed like most people were in that boat, but for whatever reason, I knew the second I saw him, he wasn't Captain America. The fact that those people showed up didn't blow my mind. What blew my mind is that they're characters in the movie. Similarly to Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire in No Way Home, they have a purpose. It's not just Multiverse of Madness. They're in the movie, and they have like extended dialogue and fight sequences that are like thought out and shot well and choreographed to the point where like you're like Channing Tatum as Gambit is like, this shit is kind of cool. Wesley Snipes shooting people, Daywalker style, Elektra stabbing people with their little spears, Daphne Keane ripping people's heads off. It blew my mind that they were like in the movie. They were supporting cast members. And the fact that they were called out during Comic-Con to be a part of the official cast, that is very impressive. That they had the wherewithal to take these characters, give them a redemption arc, but to really go balls to the wall with their involvement in the story. And that to me is where the movie reached its peak. It never got better than the others, we'll call them, the characters from the Fox universe, the Fox Avengers, if you will, coming together to take down Cassandra Nova. And that's maybe where the movie falls a little bit short of perfect, or not perfect, but great. I don't know if it's a great movie. It's very, very good, and I do love it. But the third act to me, Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds taking on the Deadpool core, while it was amazing to watch, and the way it was shot, and then Like a Prayer coming in again, was incredible. I didn't really care. I thought that was just cool. And then the end of the movie is the end of the movie. I knew the second paradox was like, if one of you goes down there, you're dead. You're dead. I was like, okay, they're both going to go down there and stop Cassandra Nova or whatever. And I've seen people saying like, classic MCU, the villain is bad. It's not great, but the actor was good as the villain. It's like, guys, that's not classic MCU. That's also classic Deadpool. Deadpool's villains, Ajax, and then like Cable. The villains in the Deadpool movies are not about like the superhero stuff. It's about the core characters. It's about the family. And Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds together, all the cameos, which are not cameos. I'm honestly, I shouldn't be calling them cameos because they're characters in the movie. Sometimes you have to be okay with movies not meeting your expectations and accept the fact that we are privileged as fans of movies, as fans of comic book movies, to have seen this. Even for people that I watched it with who didn't quite care about Wesley Snipes' Blade or didn't know that Gambit was once supposed to be Channing Tatum. Other way around, Channing Tatum was once supposed to be Gambit. It's the idea that you could look to the right and see someone who does feel that way. This moment is for that person. This moment is for me and you who grew up watching these movies. And Chris Evans, even he, who was more of a glorified cameo, was in it way more than I thought. When he said flame on and Pyro took him out, I thought, oh, he's dead. And then he was just in more of the movie, and he was integral to the post-credit scene, which was hilarious. It's a tighter script than No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness. It uses the cameos to its advantage because it has them be actual characters in the movie. If we're ranking just the multiverse projects, I think it would go No Way Home for me just because Spider-Man is my guy. So seeing the three of them together, that's going to be hard to beat, even if the movie isn't great overall. That is really going to be hard to beat. And then Deadpool and Wolverine right underneath, although I think it's objectively a better movie. And then Multiverse of Madness down here. Multiverse of Madness is fun, but the whole movie feels like, isn't this cool? Where this doesn't feel like that. This feels like, no, we're going to really give this a go. We're going to try our best. And I'm excited to see what comes next. I think Secret Wars is going to be balls to the wall. I mean, you've seen the announcements of RDJ and Dr. Doom and the Russo brothers. I personally love it. I've made a video about that too. It'll be up on the channel either before this or after this at some point. I'm excited to see what happens. Is the MCU back? I don't know. This has nothing to do with Captain America 4, but we'll see what happens, right? Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Those are my thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine. Please be sure to subscribe. It's free after on the charge to you. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.